Welcome to the Big Blue Radio Show, coming to you on Tulsa Community College's online radio station, The Grid, and on the Creativity Channel. I'm Greg Stone, Provost of TCC's Metro Campus.
And I'm Lee Goodson, President of Tulsa Community College. This year, one of TCC's outstanding students was awarded the Jack Kent Cooke Foundation Undergraduate Transfer Scholarship, the largest private scholarship for community college transfer students in the country.
Today, Dallas Elleman will talk about what it takes to be a Jack Kent Cooke winner and where his educational journey will take him on the Big Blue Radio Show. Well, Dallas Elleman, thank you for joining us today, and congratulations again on winning the Jack Kent Cooke Scholarship. That is an enormous prize, the top private prize for community college transfer students, so congratulations. Can you briefly just tell us about the experience of finding out that you won the award? Did they find you in class?
No,
somewhere?
I was, so I'm a working dad also and a student here at TCC, so I was at work. And I work for Cox Communications. I'm a cable guy doing installations. So I was in the middle of an install.
Wow.
And actually, the Jack Kent Cooke Foundation was a little bit behind in notifying students. They set a deadline when we were supposed to know, and that deadline came and went, and then they said, oh, it'll be another couple of weeks, it'll be another couple of weeks after that. And so all of us were kind of biting our nails.
Keeping you on the hook.
So it really was more of a surprise then.
Yeah, it was a big surprise. And the way that they do it sometimes is they'll notify you in class, or, find you somewhere, or trick you into coming to a room, and then everybody's there, and they spring it on you. So whenever the semester ended and that didn't happen, I was like, oh man. But then, so I called Lynn Richmond, who's in the honors department, and I was asking her whether she'd heard anything, and she said, no, we haven't heard. And then she called me back about 3 hours later and told me that they had received notification from the foundation, but it went to a spam folder. So
oh my goodness.
So and I think they'd had it for like a week or something like that. So anyway, it's a good thing that I checked, and it was just a really, so I've been trying to do this for 2 years. I applied twice, and the first time was it was just as sort of anxiety inducing, but it was a real letdown. I almost didn't apply again. But then the second time I really put a lot more sort of personal touch into the essay responses, and it was it was great. It was like all the hard work paid off.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful feeling.
And we should say that the scholarship is $40,000 a year for up to 3 years as you pursue the completion of your bachelor's degree. Can you briefly talk with us about what the process is like? I mean, you mentioned the essay responses, but it's an enormous undertaking, like you said. So for someone to do it twice is doubly impressive.
Yeah. So I mean, time intensive. It is laborious. There's the financial information that you have to put together about your previous year's taxes, or if you live with your parents, you also have to give them give the foundation your parents' information. But then they also want to know about volunteer experiences. You list all of your employment history and lots of information, personal sort of stuff like that. And then come the essay questions, and there are probably 15 or so questions with lengths of varying answers. So they limit you to 300 characters, including spaces, or 1,500. Or there's a long one that sort of asks you to give a brief life history. And so for an 18-year-old, that's sort of tough. I mean, at 18, I could have much more easily provided a life history, but then now I'm 34. It's like, where do I, what do I leave out? And so I didn't get to put in very much, but I hit the highlights, I think.
You had to do a little editing there, right?
Yeah, lots of editing. I had lots of help too.
Yeah, great. So what all does it cover? So $40,000 up to $40,000 a year.
That's
up
right.
to.
So it's up to $40,000 a year.
Okay.
And it's up to 3 years to finish your bachelor's degree.
Okay.
And they're like the once all of your other scholarships and grant money from state or whatever else other people have paid for your education, then they take care of the rest of your tuition, and then any living expenses. So like transportation costs are included, and room and board, food. There's a laptop allowance the first year that you're a member or that you're a scholar from the foundation. And all of those costs are determined by the four-year university that you attend. So I worked with the University of Tulsa, the financial aid department, and had to give them some information about my situation, and then they came back with an estimate of how much they thought it would take for me to live and attend school. And I just got the award amount from the Jack Kent Cooke Foundation, and it didn't quite reach $40,000. It was pretty close. And that's what they're contributing. So another big part of my tuition at TU was paid for by the TCC Honors Transfer Scholarship to TU.
That TU covers.
Right, the TU.
Right.
Excellent.
For honors transfers from TCC.
What a great success story for
Yeah.
you. Yeah. Wow.
Dallas, during your time at TCC, you were also an intern at the NASA Jet Propulsion Lab in 2014, and then were a JPL Solar System Ambassador for the state. Talk to us about what that experience was like.
Okay.
Because we've had we've had a few students over the last several years.
So were you in that lab that's on the Martian movie?
No, they didn't have me growing potatoes or anything like that. No. So the internship was amazing, really eye-opening experience. It sort of set this whole thing in motion. It was the first really transformative learning experience I had here at TCC. And my internship there lasted for 10 weeks. It was paid, so there was a stipend that NASA EPSCoR, the experimental program for, I think it's like college research or undergraduate college research, something like that. Anyway, they paid for like living expenses while I was out there, and then room and board, all that stuff was taken care of. And then the internship itself consisted of me working with NASA JPL scientists and engineers on a project that is in the very low stages of technical readiness. But it's a device that would eventually go off to other planets and try to extract biomarkers, so signs of ancient life from other planets or places that NASA explores. And then besides that, the JPL interns every summer. Like the summer I was there were about 750 other students from schools like MIT and Stanford and Yale, all over the place. Not a whole lot of community college students. It was a really amazing opportunity for me coming from TCC to be doing this. But the other students, all kinds of activities. There were seminars, constantly talks going on from visiting scientists and physicists and engineers from everywhere. And so then that was, having that experience really made me want to share it with other students back here at TCC who just didn't know that JPL existed, didn't know that the opportunities to intern for other NASA centers were available. And so I just sort of by chance met a person who introduced me to somebody else who's the head of NASA, or the JPL Solar System Ambassador Program, and that's a volunteer outreach program. So I applied for that. There are 5 of us in Oklahoma, and I'm trying to get more students to be ambassadors here in Tulsa so we can kind of put together a team and make a bigger impact. But so far I've done outreach to like elementary schools, junior high, and high schools. I've helped out or been allowed to help with the Tulsa Regional STEM Alliance. That's the organization. So I've done some outreach with them also.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So there's another major program that you've really brought TCC into being involved in, and I have to cheat and look at my notes here. It's
the acronym,
yeah. Yeah, Tulsa Champ, College High School Aquaponics Mentoring Partnership.
Yeah.
Yeah, and your team was a finalist through the National Science Foundation Community College Innovation Challenge in 2 years in a row, 15 and 16. So tell us a little bit about that and what drew you to be one of the founders. Okay.
So what drew me to submit an entry to the National Science Foundation competition first was just the prize money. And so it sort of sucked me in, and I got with any friends who were remotely interested in doing that, and we all kind of got together at a coffee shop to figure out what sort of project we could enter, or what we could submit, and then eventually it sort of narrowed down to like there were 4 of us who were really committed and interested in it, and it was at that time I'd heard of aquaponics before, which is just a sustainable way of growing fish and vegetables together. I'd heard of aquaponics, and I was interested in it. But one of the friends that was in the team of people talking about this National Science Foundation competition, he actually had an aquaponics system that was just sitting there and not being used. So we talked to Dr. Gibson at the Northeast campus. He allowed us to bring it into the Horticulture Center, and we started doing research, trying to keep the fish and the plants alive. And basically, the fish wastewater is pumped into vegetable grow beds, and the vegetables and microbes there sort of filter it out, and that's how the plants get their nutrients, and that's how the water gets clean for the fish also. So anyway. We wanted to try to find a way to use aquaponics in the competition, and we chose STEM education, so helping college students learn about real science in the real world. And then we proposed the idea, which was Tulsa Champ, this project that would allow college students to do independent research at the community college level, and then share that research knowledge with high schools and junior highs, providing mentoring and sort of a pathway to STEM careers and academic paths for high school and junior high students. And we submitted that idea to the National Science Foundation. We were finalists. We didn't win the first year competition, but then we came back, and I wanted to take another group of students back this year. So I recruited more students, and then we all came up with the second idea, which is called the AmClam. You can learn more about it at amclam.org. That's amclam.org. And it's basically an automated electronic device for helping with aquaponic systems.
You mentioned University of Tulsa, and you're off to TU this fall. What's your major? What's your career goal?
So it was electrical engineering is what I started out here at TCC with, and that's what I have my associates in. But at the University of Tulsa, I learned about a program, engineering physics, and so there's a lot of overlap there. And it's like a physics degree plus an engineering degree. Sort of, they take, you learn about quantum mechanics and some pretty deep physics stuff, which is really, really interesting to me also. But then how to apply that to the real world. So things like the program, the specialization, concentration that I'll be entering in is electrical engineering robotics. So I'm really interested in learning about automation, maybe even artificial intelligence, those types of things.
Wow.
And I'll be able to do that at TU now.
That's amazing.
So clearly you've had a tremendous amount of success as a college student. Talk to us about how have you, I guess for lack of a better phrase, how have you managed your ambition so that you can get to this point? Because a lot of times ambitious people may have obstacles or may want to do something big but may not know exactly what that is, and may see opportunity but aren't sure how they're going to get there. Tell us what kind of strategies have you used to be both a successful community college student, and will you be using at the University of Tulsa to get to where you want to be?
Okay, so there are a lot of obstacles that have come up, and for every college student who's trying to make it, it's time management is a big deal. Putting away my bad habits, so like video games. I was really bad about playing video games for a while. I wasted so many hours. But then finally just kind of cut myself off because I was just tired of not having time to do all the things that I really wanted to do. And once I cut that out, I've been much more happy and productive since then. Of course, I also want to spend time with my 3 daughters and my wife, and so time management's a really big deal. Getting very organized, more organized than I thought I would have to become. There's an app, Google Calendar, or any kind of calendar app really helps out a lot. I would recommend that to any student who is who's struggling with keeping up with deadlines or assignments. That's when, and like you notice, I'm paperless. You guys have your papers. I've got my phone here, so I keep everything on my phone. There's several other productivity apps that are very helpful, especially for working with teams. So if you have team assignments in classes, or like the National Science Foundation competition, like Slack and Trello and Google Hangouts helped us to communicate and to...
Google Hangouts.
Yeah, oh yeah, you write that one down.
Okay.
So
I always write
she has a
something
list
down.
going,
Yeah.
so-
Yeah, Hangouts is free. It's video chat. It's super convenient. So whenever we couldn't all get together, and we had team members spread all over Tulsa, and we take 30 minutes sometimes to get to a central location, so we would just do a video chat. We also did Google Hangouts with the National Science Foundation mentors that were provided to us for the competition.
Nice.
Well, Dallas, just in the last minute or so we have left, we want to ask you the big question that we ask all the guests, and you just gave some great strategies, but maybe in broader terms, if you could sort of go back in time and give some advice to your college-going self when you were first getting ready to start school, what would that advice be? What advice would you offer to other students in that same situation?
So I got sort of a slow start. It's taken me 4 years to get my associate's degree here at TCC, just because I couldn't go full-time every semester. But for the first 2 or 3 semesters, it sort of felt like I was just doing homework and only assignments and taking care of my GPA, and it's really, really important. But if I had known how valuable the extracurricular activities and the experiences outside the classroom were, I would have started a lot earlier. And I know that there were lots of opportunities that I passed up, even though I took advantage of a lot of them, the internship and the National Science Foundation competition, outreach, all kinds of stuff. But there were definitely things that could have helped me learn and grow and be even more prepared to get to a 4-year university. And that's what I would tell any student who's starting out is make sure that you don't overload yourself. Don't go full time if that's going to tax and it's going to take up all of your time, all your spare time. Maybe start out slow and leave yourself some breathing room to to take risks, to put yourself in places or organizations where you haven't done those types of things before, and practice public speaking.
Toastmasters.
Yeah, Toastmasters would be great. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Great.
Well, it's great
Thank
advice
you.
for students to remember. So thanks for sharing that, and thank you for joining us. That's all the time we have for today. But again, we want to thank our guest, Dallas Elleman, and say congratulations again on winning the Jack Kent Cooke Foundation Scholarship.
And thank you for being here too. Remember, you can find us every week online at The Grid, tulsacc.edu/thegrid, and on the Creativity channel. We'll see you next time.